Today we're checking out some more Star Trek Deep Space Nine Season 1.
Station log, stardate 46910.1.
Yeah.
Chief O'Brien has escorted his wife back to Earth. The rest of us are trying to keep the station up and running.
Without O'Brien. This episode's called Dax. I'm excited. I want to see more about her.
Another wreck to Gino.
It'll keep me up all night.
I can think of better ways of keeping you up.
Oh my. Is she ever gonna go for him? Don't tell me.
Dax.
I really should be getting to bed.
Well, may I escort you to your quarters?
That's not necessary, Julian.
I don't think she's interested. These guys aren't gonna do something, right? No.
Not necessary, Julian.
You're out of luck, Julian.
But not forbidden either.
Is he gonna go to her quarters? You're not invited, man. Although he might save her from whatever these guys are doing.
You are Dax.
What do you want?
No. Come on, Julian, now's your time.
Dax!
Oh! Okay. I like this music. Oh no! Kidnap? At least they didn't kill Julian, though, because, I mean, he saw their faces. He's gonna know what happened and who took her. Space. The final frontier. Just kidding. I've heard that this theme song changes eventually a little bit. The tempo or something. The timing. This is how I feel I need to be when this is playing. Is there an equivalent of that in Starfleet? The stand at attention kind of thing?
What are you doing?
What do they want with her?
We turn right at the next corridor.
They are still on the ship. Station. I'll probably still call it a ship sometimes.
3 on docking pylons, 5 smaller ones in the ports.
Seal off all docking ring airlocks.
Security, all duties.
I like the music.
Isolating with Cateran force fields.
Will you just tell me what you want?
Yeah, who are you? What do you want? This is definitely like a pre-planned kidnapping.
They know the security override codes.
Yep.
They're boarding a ship.
I'm trying to speed up the bleed-off process in the graviton generator.
Let's go.
We lost them.
They're gone. My first thought was we need to get the Enterprise in here.
Engage tractor beam.
Can it? Tractor beamed. Okay, I thought they were getting away for sure. All right.
Extremities where I can see them. You're the chief of security?
Is she all right?
Special envoy from Claystron 4. In charge of this extradition
She know him?
procedure.
Extradition, I call this kidnapping and assault.
Agreed.
Fugitive Dax is charged with treason and the murder of my father.
Oh, what? She kind of looks like she's feeling guilty. She looks like she did it. Commercial break. The look on her face was like, frig, they know.
Warrant says Dax was responsible for the death of General Ardalan 30 years ago.
30 years ago.
Not so strange, considering these charges.
Odo, let me tell you something. Curzon Dax tended to be a little cavalier about life.
But he's no murderer.
It's all nonsense, Constable. I'm telling you, I knew the man.
But did you know the symbiont inside the man?
They probably have said, but I wonder how many different bodies Dax has had. I forget if they've said.
I've sent a subspace message to Claystron 4 requesting confirmation of the war. What the hell's going on, Dax?
Yeah, explain. Spill your guts. Let's go.
If I'm going to help you, you've got to help me.
I don't expect any help, Benjamin.
I like these shots.
Talk to me before I have to let these people take you.
No. I'm sorry, Benjamin, but no.
Why? She doesn't want to, what, implicate him?
That was Curzon Dax you knew for 20 years.
So when the Dax part of you survived from one host to the next, it really didn't take our friendship along.
Really? I can't understand why she won't tell him the truth.
Our extradition treaty with your Federation is current and valid.
This station is technically Bajoran.
What does that mean to us?
Warrant's no good here?
Treaty with Bajor. I think that's why you tried to abduct Lieutenant Dax. You were afraid the Bajorans would refuse extradition.
Technicality. Loophole.
There will have to be an extradition hearing before I can lawfully release Lieutenant Dax.
I mean, they're just stalling again, but technically, yes, that's true.
How long? As long as it takes.
That could be for days.
Oh, there's nowhere else on the station that's suitable.
They want to hold the trial there?
Since the provisional government took over, they've got their hands into everything, and of course, I'm the one who's expected to enforce them.
Just let him hold the hearing there.
This is blackmail.
No, it's just business. And business is business.
The trial will be there. Hearing the hearing.
This case has 30 years of dust covering it. The extradition hearing will take about 30 minutes.
I was hoping to make it a little longer than that.
Good luck.
Oh, we can stretch it out if time is what we need.
I do not have time to squander listening to superfluous language. I intend being here until supper, not senility.
Supper. Oh, superfluous language. Got it.
Since there is no time limit on the prosecution of such crimes,
The crimes described are 30 years old. What took you so long?
Fair question.
Commander, the warrant is in order. On what grounds do you ask that I deny extradition?
She's no nonsense.
this creature is a Trill. The symbiont known as Dax has progressed from one host to the next.
Now we're gonna see how much it carries through to the hosts.
You will convince me, please, that the person named in your warrant is the person who is standing here now.
I am interested to see how this plays out. How much of the old person goes to the new host? How much? He thought it was a lot. He thought his old friend was in there. And she kind of said, not really anymore.
Any precedents, legal decisions involving Trills.
Is a Trill responsible for the conduct, for the acts?
Of the previous.
What if I find the answer is yes?
Then that answer is wrong. From this minute on, our answer is no. We only have a few hours, people.
I wonder what they're gonna find out.
Everyone that's old enough to remember says the General and Curzon Dax were the closest of friends, comrades.
Really?
Now that sounds like the Curzon Dax I knew.
But treason, plus the murder of his own best friend? Strange business.
Maybe he didn't do it.
The General left a widow. The two men were that close. She has to remember something about Curzon Dax that's not on the record.
Yeah, go see her. I want to see him turn into something crazy.
Oh, I tried to persuade him not to reopen the case. He won't listen to anyone, least of all to me.
Huh.
He was a dear friend to this family. Curzon would have died himself sooner than conspire against my husband.
Okay, so she doesn't think he did it.
On his way back from the capital, it was at that time that he was ambushed and kidnapped. A short time later, he was killed.
By who?
At the time of the transmission, all of them, except Curzon.
Except.
So Dax has no alibi.
But that doesn't mean guilt.
Be enough to convict him, can it?
I don't know.
Doesn't help.
Thank you. You've been helpful.
All right, so the mom doesn't think he did it.
Curzon Dax.
He's gone. The Dax your son is trying to extradite is Jadzia Dax, a 28-year-old woman.
She doesn't like that at all. They should get her in the hearing.
We accept you as an expert on Trills. Proceed.
Minister,
Is he gonna say how much transfers over
how
between
many
hosts?
hosts have you survived? So, if a crime is committed by a Trill, then the symbiont's next host would remain aware of it, would recall,
But does it make them guilty of it? Not really.
and would still feel the guilt of it.
Oh, yes.
Madam Arbiter, this is not a
But
trial,
does it-
and Mr. Tandrew is not the prosecutor.
I mean, they're guilty necessarily.
To commit it, all one has to do is elude capture long enough to change hosts, and then he or she can go free.
Kind of. I mean, if this is the precedent that they're gonna set here in this trial, kind of.
This host's personality is completely suppressed by the symbiont.
Oh, no. It's a joining. Total sharing, a blending.
A blending.
Just to return us to what's important here, Madam Arbiter, the accused can remember any crime she committed.
But that doesn't mean she committed it. It doesn't mean that her new personality would choose to commit it.
I said this would be an informal hearing, not riotous. We will take a 2-hour recess.
She needs a nap. This is interesting. It's reminding me, I mean, I'm sure it's not the epic episode, but of a little bit of like Measure of a Man, like the question of Dax here. We're settling in a hearing.
The symbiont and the host are biologically interdependent. Neither can survive without the other.
I see.
Neither can survive without the other.
Curzon Dax and Jadzia Dax, the same person.
Certainly not. There's a marked difference in blood types and metabolism.
It's a new joining.
They are distinctly different, which clearly illustrates that Curzon and Jadzia are two unique individuals.
This is making me think of that Beverly episode with the Trill, too. It wasn't just the same person she was in love with, it was a new person.
It's quite complicated, actually. First of all, there are two cerebral nuclei.
Two?
One in the symbiont and one in the host.
Two brains.
Two brains.
And have the brainwave patterns of the symbiont changed since it joined with its new host?
With the available evidence, there's no way of telling.
The joining is different, but the symbiont would be the same.
Fact, is there evidence of any change at all in the symbiont since it joined with its new host? Yes or no?
No.
Thank you, Dr. Bashir.
The symbiont is guilty, but the host isn't, and she is a product of both. She's half guilty. This is tricky.
One person in this courtroom who knew Curzon Dax. Me.
Highly unusual.
You know where the witness stand is?
Can a lawyer call themselves in a real trial? I don't think so.
What was exactly your relationship?
He took a raw young ensign under his wing and taught me to appreciate life in ways I'd never thought about before.
He idolized him.
As an honorable man, do you think this crime should go unpunished?
I'd prefer no crime to go unpunished.
Then, if it were possible,
But you can't just hold the symbiote.
What if it were the Curzon host that was responsible?
That's
Then
fair.
the surviving symbiont would be completely innocent.
That's true.
you yourself have argued that the two personalities once joined function as one.
But you argued they're separate.
Jadzia Dax is an entirely new entity.
Following a 1-hour recess, Lieutenant Dax will take the witness stand.
Yeah, I would like to hear from Dax. That's true. I hadn't considered. So even if the symbiont is separate, doesn't mean the symbiont was responsible.
Hearing, not a trial. She has no choice.
You can do it. She feels the guilt. She has the memories.
You can't tell me Curzon would log in to communicate to the enemy.
But the log does show a number of conversations between Dax's office and General Tandro's home.
It's gonna shatter him if his friend did this.
If they were having an affair, that translates into a pretty solid motive for murder.
Yeah, I think he did it, and I think this is gonna be really hard on him. Come on, Shrek. It's his hero.
My place is to carry on bravely, never to remarry, to represent my husband at the banquets given in his name, never to talk about who he really was.
Did he murder?
For he was the hero who died for his people. But perhaps it's time for my place in history to change.
Tell the truth.
Curzon didn't murder anybody. He didn't commit treason. Are you really willing to commit over something done in another lifetime?
She's not saying anything.
You have an overactive imagination.
Then what is it that's holding you back? Help me. Damn it, if you were still a man!
He'd clock her.
I see your temper hasn't improved.
Don't talk to me about my temper.
Curzon always warned you about it. Do you remember that Argosian lieutenant who threw a drink in your face?
It is weird. She still has all the memories, but it's not her.
It just slipped off my finger.
If you don't help me, old man, they're gonna take you because I don't know any more arguments.
Tell the truth.
I can't tell you which part of Curzon Dax couldn't stop himself from acting shamefully with another man's wife. I can tell you that he did love her.
Oh, tell him the truth.
Nothing, Benjamin. Nothing at all.
I can't believe she just won't tell. She knows what happened or didn't happen. Either he killed him or he didn't.
You are either 200 years older than I am, or you're about the same age as my great-granddaughter.
Both.
I am bothered by the likelihood that you may be both.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted it since I was a child. I worked very hard for it.
The competition to become a Trill is very strong then.
Cool.
How did the young Jadzia finally become a host candidate?
By winning scholarships?
Including psychological tests to determine strength of character. Is that true?
Yes.
What academic degrees do you hold, Lieutenant?
Exobiology, zoology, astrophysics, and exoarchaeology.
Wow.
Before being joined with the symbiont Dax.
All of them.
All of them. As Jadzia.
She was a person before, yeah.
How can anyone justify trying her for a crime allegedly committed by another entity before she was even born?
I agree, I think.
Did Jadzia fully understand the responsibilities to be assumed upon becoming a Trill? And did you willingly accept those responsibilities and whatever consequences they might entail?
Does it say explicitly if you join and the other person did something criminal? Oh, good. Spill it, lady.
Madam Arbiter, Curzon Dax is accused of sending a transmission to the enemy that betrayed my husband.
Maybe it was her.
But I know where Curzon was at the exact time that transmission was sent.
Oh, having an affair?
He was in my bed.
Mr. Tandro, you will want to re-examine your extradition request.
We
Until
put-
then, this hearing is adjourned.
That's really the only way that this could have ended without coming up with some kind of precedent of like, is the new host responsible for the old host's actions? We didn't really solve that.
As for you, there is one favor I would ask.
Of course.
Live, Jadzia Dax.
I wonder how many hosts they can have. If there's a maximum, if the symbiont would ever kind of expire.
Fresh and wonderful life.
The end. Okay, that was season 1, episode 8, and I like that one. I feel like we learned a lot about the Trills, although we didn't really settle the question fully of, how much responsibility does Trill have for the actions of the previous host? I'm curious about that, and I feel like we're going to continue to explore that. I'm not sure. And actually, I am kind of curious, wouldn't there be some kind of... Wouldn't they have sort of settled this, or at least talked about it on the Trill homeworld? Wouldn't this question have come up before? Consequences of something that one of the other hosts did? I wonder on the Trill homeworld if they're held responsible for things that the other host did. I'm curious about that, or if we ever learn that. But yeah, I do think it kind of fleshed out Dax a little, although, she was very secretive. She didn't want to tell Cisco anything. And I get it, she was, trying to be loyal and all of that and trying to keep the secret. But it makes me feel like their friendship isn't quite what it used to be. Obviously not. She's a different host. And this settled a lot of questions for me about that. Just how much is she her new host and how much is she the symbiont? And, they're two separate things. They're joined. They become a new thing. She still has the memories of the old host. She feels the guilt for the things that he's done, and presumably other hosts before that. I can't remember if she's had other hosts before that. Let me know that if you know. But she's her own person. She's her own version of this. I really like the part where they told me about her just as herself, earning her degrees and things that she did before she joined and became this new kind of person. It really helped me to kind of understand a bit more about the Trills. I found them quite puzzling, and even, we've seen them before in TNG when Beverly falls in love with the Trill and then it changes hosts and she doesn't feel the same anymore, and I was kind of questioning but is it... I sort of thought it was just like an entity that sort of just moves bodies, and once the entity is in that body it's still the same person, but it's not quite that simple. It joins with the host and becomes like a new sort of person. So I do think that question was settled in this episode for me, and I get it more. I understand more what a Trill is. I think it'll be interesting going forward to see Cisco and Dax together. He clearly idolizes the previous host, had a great friendship with him, wants to carry it forward, and the memories are still there with Dax, but it's different. It is different, and he feels differently about her than he does about the previous host, which makes sense. Yeah, I'm just curious about how their friendship will unfold, and if it will ever get to a super closeness like he felt with the other host. I wonder how much of his friendship with the other host was the host and not the symbiont. Did a lot of the friendship that he had, was it with sort of more of the symbiont side of him, which was then transferred to Dax? I guess we'll see going forward, friendship-wise. But yeah, this one's really interesting. I just found it really interesting. I thought the old lady judge was really funny. Yeah, I just like this one. I thought this was a really good episode. I'd been asking for a Dax episode, so I'm really glad we got to see, and I'm very curious to learn more about her character, about all the characters, but she in particular is a really interesting character. Curious what kind of stories she'll get in the future. I'm just curious. I enjoyed it. This is a good one. And right now I'm going to check out another TNG episode. Next week we will do another DS9 and a TNG. Looking forward to both as usual. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I had a great time. I hope you had a great time too. And I will see you next time. Bye guys.